Hi guys, my name is AJ Forsyth. I'm the CEO of iCracked.com. I have with me Ed Waldrop, our master technician. And what iCracked is, it's an on-demand nationwide smartphone repair company where anytime you drop your phone, you press a button on our website and we'll send a technician to your home or office or coffee shop to repair it on site. And today I'm really excited because we have the 10th anniversary iPhone 10 that came in, or iPhone X, depending on how you want to pronounce it. We have both a white one and a black one, and we're going to be doing the unboxing and showing you what's inside and how to replace these screens. Ed actually and I camped out at the Palo Alto Apple Store this morning in California and got to see Tim Cook come and give a speech before they sold us these phones. So these are some of the first two phones in California. We're excited to open them up, so let's start the unboxing ceremony. Now, as most of you guys know, that the main difference with the iPhone 10 and the previous generations is they've removed Touch ID and went a full edge-to-edge screen with very minimal bezel. It also has wireless charging behind this rear glass, as well as the dual 12-megapixel camera system. And we're gonna power it up for the first time, which is actually quite exciting. So we see them coming up. Ed's already removed his protective coat. And it looks like it just did a quick power cycle, but just to compare, there's two colors. We have space gray, which is right here. It's that shiny black, and then we have silver. Both of them, one is a 256 gigabyte version and the other is a 64. And what Ed's going to be doing is heating up the screen behind this to soften that adhesive, and then he's going to remove the screen and tell you all about the components. But I will let Ed do his thing. And if you guys ever break your phone or need someone to fix it, iCracked.com is a great service where we have thousands of technicians where you put in a request on our website and we'll send them to you to repair your screens. But happy repairing out there, and enjoy your iPhone 10.
As AJ said, I'm Ed Waldrop. I'm the master technician with iCracked. Now, I've been heating this phone to loosen the gasket that goes between the display and the frame. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. I'm going to remove the two pentalobe screws located both left and right of the charge port. Wow, those are really long. I'm going to take my trusty IS-Clack here and begin to start separating this. You see the bezel starting to lift up. I'm going to take a little plastic tool here, get in here and cut that gasket along the edge. Okay, so I've popped the screen up and we'll fold it over here, and I've noticed there's a couple of cables leading down from the display, and it looks like this board right here has got to be removed. So this retaining plate is held in with tri-wing screws. As you can see, these screws are various sizes. So if you have to take this apart to repair your phone, you want to make sure you keep track of the screws and put them in the correct location. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this retaining plate. And wow, there is a whole lot of flex cables here. Okay, so now that I have the retaining plate off, I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3 to the third cable, which is the battery, and I'm going to go ahead and disconnect power from the device. It's just good practice anytime you're working electronics to disconnect the power source. And that's why you do it. Even though this is an LED and it doesn't have a backlight, you still don't want to risk doing anything on here without disconnecting a power source. So now I'll go ahead and disconnect this lower cable. The next cable that's attached to the display. And lastly, you've got this long cable that's got the speaker and proximity, ambient light sensor and flood sensor. And we'll disconnect it here. It also has a bit of adhesive down here, so it'll seem like it's part of the next cable, but it's actually not. Just very gentle tug, and now the display is removed. Looking at it, it's a pretty simple display assembly. Looks like the only components that are going to have to be transferred over is this piece here. It's pretty unique because it's home for the loudspeaker, the microphone, the ambient light sensor, the flood illuminator, and the proximity sensor all in a simple cable. It looks like it's just held down with a few screws here, which are tri-wing screws. There's a grounding tab of some sort on that screw. Then we can lift the speaker body up and follow the cable along, and it looks like we have the ambient light sensor located here and the upper microphone located right over here. So let's see how easily this will come off. It's fairly simple. Oh, I see. I gotta get underneath there. Anytime it's fighting, I'm just going to set this over here and heat it up because it looks like it's held down with adhesive. We can go over a couple of the components here inside the phone. As you can see, this is the first phone that has a multi-cell battery, which takes up the majority of the space inside here. The logic board is actually a very unique version too, because it's two logic boards that are stacked to be able to fit in this sort of space. And that it probably explains why this phone is just a little thicker than previous generations. You've got the Taptic engine, you've got the loudspeaker, and then up here on top, looks like we have the front-facing camera located here. Now we have the infrared dot projector located here, and then the infrared camera located over here. And it's held in place with a couple of screws and some cables coming down. We're not going to tear it down that far. I'm going to go ahead and remove this old adhesive while I'm here because it's good practice to replace it so you can maintain that IP67 compliance. Some gooey stuff. While I'm still waiting on that display, I'll go ahead and put on the replacement gasket here. So we'll see which way this sits. There we go. And smooth this in. Pull off the top layer. So that leaves the gasket on there with this protective layer. So this will allow me to connect all the cables, battery, and everything without the adhesive sticking to the display itself. Go back to this. There's a fair amount of adhesive in there. There we go. So that whole assembly just comes right out. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back in. This to me seems like it's going to be a very simple repair. Set the microphone back down. There we go. So now that's back in there. One thing about these tri-wings is they don't like to stay on your screwdriver tip. Okay, and this one here, which has that little grounding tab, we want to make sure we get that in the correct place. So that's a little guy. Okay, now that we have it aligned, I'll go ahead and tighten it. As you see, it's got a little catch here, so it'll sit in the correct location along there. Alrighty. I'm going to reconnect the display down to the logic board. Okay, before I peel the adhesive and put the retaining plate back on, I just want to make sure everything functions. Getting a good Apple logo. Okay, touch is working. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and power this down. Then I'll go ahead and drop the retaining plate back in. I'm not screwing these in all the way. I want to get all the screws started. Now that I have all the screws in, I'm going to go ahead and tighten them. Okay, now I can go ahead and remove the adhesive backing here from my gasket. And it comes off in 3 pieces. Okay, so now I'm ready to set the display back in. And I just line it up and I look on the side, make sure that the cables aren't going to get pinched between there. Press them down. Walk my fingers around. You can see it snaps in pretty good. Go ahead and power it up. Then I'll insert these really long Penelope posts. Overall, I'd have to say this iPhone X is a fairly simple repair and can be easily done. But being that it's an OLED display, it's going to be a costly repair due to the cost of the replacement display itself. I'd say this one comes in up next to the 3GS in repairability in my book. Of course, other people may say differently. So now I'm going to go ahead and set up the Face ID. As you can see, the phone is functional. Cameras are working. It's going to take some getting used to not having a home button, that's for sure. Overall, I'd say that this is a beautiful display and that this is going to be one of the easier repairs of all the current model iPhones. All right, so we're going to go ahead and shut down the iPhone X. Now, one thing you cannot do is just press and hold the power button, because that actually activates Siri and double tap for your Apple Pay and 5 taps for SOS. So in order to shut down the iPhone X, you've got to go to Settings, General, go all the way down to Shut Down. Now that the phone is shutting down, I'm going to go ahead and set it back on the heater plate so I can get my gasket nice and sticky so the frame and display can re-adhere to one another. And while it's doing that, I'll hand you back off to AJ.
And there we have it. Thank you for watching. As always, if you ever break your iPhone 10 or really any generation of iPhone, visit us online at iCracked.com and we'll send someone to you to repair your device. So happy repairing out there.